Hello. Okay. We'll get right into it. You know how I roll. I also don't dress up for the occasion because I'm relatable and I'm not fancy. Abstinence versus not abstinence. This has been actually a hot topic lately with people I've talked to, clients, and just friends that I give free services to. The topic of abstinence keeps coming up, and this is going to sound very backwards, but I have found myself telling people to take abstinence off the table. This is why. If you are aware or are unaware that you have a history of a sense of failure, you have a history of feeling like in some area or areas of your life you just don't quite measure up, okay? If this is like a little seed that lives in you, relapsing or failing at your abstinence is a really great way to perpetuate that idea for yourself. So if you think about it, like if you've committed to quitting drink and quitting drug and you relapse one weekend or one day, or you have a beer, or you go on vacation and have a bunch of drinks, that is an amazing way for you to remind yourself that you are still a failure, that you'll never quite measure up, okay? You'll never quite have it all. So what I've been suggesting to people is to remove the idea of abstinence and replace it with self-care. And I know that self-care is like such a buzzword right now, but I will break this down for an idea of what that means. If you know that you are going to drink or do drugs one weekend, and we've removed abstinence from the equation, that word does not exist for you right now, okay? Or if you know that you are going to drink X amount of drinks every day, or, smoke X amount of joints. Do people still smoke joints? Anyway, do X amount of drugs every day. How you're going to combat these feelings of failure and unworthiness, or that you don't deserve to be happy, how you're going to combat these is by taking good care of yourself before, during, and after you're using, okay? So just being super responsible and showing yourself a lot of love. For example, if you know that you are going to drink 10 beers one night, what you're going to maybe want to do is, put a Gatorade and some Advil by your bed for the morning. Make sure that next day's stuff is ready the day before. Okay, so if you come home from work, you crush 10 beers, you wake up in the morning and you're like, coffee, pack my lunch, whatever. Pack your lunch the night before. Set your coffee so all you have to do is push a button, or honestly invest in a coffee machine with a timer. It's going to change your life. You're going to do these things to take care of yourself so that you are eliminating some of the reasons that you think are so valid to beat yourself up the next day, to remind yourself that you're a failure, that all the garbage that we tell ourselves. And I have a suspicion that you do want better for yourself because you've come to my website and purchased this video. But possibly the way you're going about it is extreme, and you are possibly setting yourself up for failure. Deep in your subconscious, this might be a behavior that is so ingrained in you that you don't even think about it, setting yourself up for failure or self-sabotage. But again, I assume you want a little bit better for yourself. And this would be a nice way to go about it, is start removing the factors and start sort of breaking down and dissolving the thought patterns that make you feel like garbage. And here's the thing about self-care is if you've got that kernel, that seed, that dark little part of you that occasionally whispers, oh, you messed up again. You always mess up. The only way to counteract that is with consuming aggressive love for yourself. And I know how like hokey that sounds, but it's the truth. This is why I'm putting it out there that maybe the answer isn't abstinence. Not yet. It might come later. Abstinence is a beautiful, beautiful thing. Not using, okay? I have not used for almost 10 years and it is the greatest. But if you're not yet in a place where you want to do like this great, wonderful thing for yourself, it's going to be absolute torture. And it's going to be every time that you think that you are failing, it's going to be a great way for you to go back to using, have something called a relapse, which is like the scariest word ever. It is just so loaded with like failure mentality. So I'm just suggesting that you start small. I've been doing yard work. Start small. If you know you're going to use, find a way to take care of yourself. Okay. Prepare for the next day so that tomorrow you doesn't feel like absolute garbage, and tomorrow you has very little reason to remind you that you think that you are a failure, or you think that you are garbage, or you don't deserve the love of your family, whatever. No, because tomorrow you is waking up, drinking a Gatorade, and eating a nice little lunch that's sober you from yesterday, packed. Does that make sense? I'm asking as though you're here. I hope you're nodding. Okay, so again, if you're using harder drugs, don't use alone. I mean, that's obvious. Okay, opiate users, I'm begging you. I honestly don't even want to touch that one. Opiate users, this is not for you. Okay. People who are using cocaine, alcohol, weed, just have a look at your following day routines and see what adjustments you can make. If you know that the next day you are just like a zombie, do things before to take care of yourself for the next day. If you have been attempting abstinence and you keep failing, try something else. That is the insanity of some of our behavior, is we'll keep doing the same thing thinking maybe this time it'll be different. If it is not different, try something else. That is why I made this video. It's a suggestion. Again, you paid for this video. You came to this website. There was something in your subconscious that said, do it. Buy this. Listen to what she has to say. The part of you that wants to take care of yourself is in there, okay? Listen to it. Abstaining from everything is not always the answer for everybody, especially for people who are right at the beginning of their exploration into their substance use. So, and again, the only way to quiet the whispers of low self-worth, of shame, of self-doubt, all of it, is to give it an unbearable amount of love. I don't want to end on a really simplistic, sort of nonchalant way, but I'm going to. Pack yourself a sandwich, eat it tomorrow, meal prep. Once you start doing nice things for yourself, you're gonna want to do nice things for yourself. So even if right now you're rolling your eyes and you're like, cool, King is telling me that meal prep and Gatorade are gonna cure my drug addiction or whatever, just try it. Fake it. Okay? I'm not saying, hey, do this thing and you're gonna experience this crazy mindset shift and you're gonna suddenly love yourself and everything's gonna be amazing. I am not saying that. I am very much aware that this is a process. What I am suggesting is that these tiny acts of service to you are gonna add up, and it's not a terrible way for you to start. I don't want to say loving yourself, but that's what I mean. It's not a terrible way for you to start shifting your behaviors, which will subsequently shift your mindset about yourself. There is nothing wrong with drinking and doing drugs. No matter what is imprinted in your little brain. What needs to be adjusted, I assume, since you are watching this video, is the way that you think about yourself and the way that you treat yourself. People meal prep all the time on Sundays. You start doing that too. These videos are intended to give you a different perspective on yourself. And one of those perspectives is to be more forgiving of yourself. Acknowledge that you're trying despite your perceived failures or your self-sabotage, and to open you up to different possibilities and different strategies to take care of yourself. Abstinence is not the immediate answer for everyone. If it's too much for you, take it off your to-do list. I hope that made sense. Love you.